license, ID card, which is very exciting. So if you don't mind, we'll just keep waiting for people to kind of process. The main thing that we want to do is brainstorm ideas for promotions for this year. So you guys can start doing that between yourselves while we're waiting for everybody to get in. Well, thank you for your patience. This is the first time for us too doing this, and obviously this is the biggest group we'll probably ever get because all of you, we hope, would like your ID and are looking forward to getting it. So we want to make sure that everyone gets it as soon as possible. We had hoped to do this in November and December, but the machine that we had purchased, the quality was really, really bad. And so we didn't want to give you something that wore out and didn't work or rubbed off, or your ID number, or your, you're going to get a what do you call it, QR code? No, that's not it. What's the right name? I just told you a minute. Barcode. Thank you. You're going to have a barcode at the bottom, so it will let us read that once we get the software upgrade, hopefully at the end of this year. And so it's going to help us be more efficient. Hopefully it'll help you be more efficient. You'll be able to just do a copy. If you do multiple licenses that you're filing, multiple certificates that you're filing, you'll just be able to copy your ID onto a cover sheet and not have to write it in every single time. So hopefully it'll be easier for you. It will be easier for us to make sure we understand who is actually out there marrying people and how many people. People ask me stuff all the time that I don't have a way to research our data to find out, like how many officiants do we actually have that are actively marrying people. It could be 100, it could be 1,000, and I'm not really sure. So this will help us find those kinds of things out. I was surprised at how often it's coming up that people are being married by unlicensed officiants. When I talked to Washoe County, they said up to 40% of their certificates were being filed by unlicensed officiants. I don't have a way to check that yet, but now that we're asking everyone to put their ID number, it's easier for us to see, well, if you don't have a number and we can't get you your number from your original certificate, then we can realize that this person may not be licensed. And so those are the kinds of reasons that we wanted to do it. We think it'll be more efficient for our staff. Once we get the software upgrade, we'll automatically be able to populate your information into our database, so we don't have to hand type your information onto every single certificate in the database like we do now. So there's still a pretty big line out there. I think we can go ahead and get started, but a big portion of today's event was to get you your IDs. I know that everybody has to wait for everyone, unfortunately. I think our software this morning was down, the internet was down. I think it's back up so that we can actually print out a lot of the IDs today. And if not, we'll be able to mail you your ID, so you don't need to necessarily wait for that if it takes a long time. So we're learning how to do this. We're not necessarily the most efficient, but we're learning how to do it as effectively as possible. And thank you for your patience. But we can start talking about some of the things that I wanted to talk about. I don't have a lot, except for I wanted to brainstorm with you guys what we can do to improve the industry. We'll spend most of the time doing that. Let's see. Get it. So the agenda today is pretty simple. It's getting your Officiant ID cards, and then we'll talk a little bit about last year's marriage licenses, promotional opportunities that we've done in the past, and what we can do this year so that we can help rebuild the industry. And obviously the Officiant ID card, this is kind of what it's going to look like. So you see the barcode along the bottom, which is basically your ID number. It has your ID number on it as well. The new expiration date, which would be 5 years from January 1 for all of you guys that are older than last year. And then for new officiants, it'll obviously be 5 years from their date from when they get their officiant's license. We've had 3 officiants training classes so far. We have 2 a month, so 2 in January, 1 in February, and we have another one coming up. And no, I guess that's 4. We've had 4. And it's gone really well. A lot of you came and contributed last year when we were talking about doing the Officiant's training class, and helped us to come up with the outline and what we wanted to talk about, and how We wanted to let officiants know the importance and seriousness of what you guys do, as well as the fun parts. So this doesn't talk really about how to do the ceremony or any of the religious implications. It's all about the legal implications and the legal responsibilities that you have as an officiant. And as you guys all know, this is probably the most important contract a person signs in their life, and that's the civil portion of it. The religious portion is, you know, up to you guys to cover, but we wanted to make sure that the officiants realize this is really important to the couple and really important to them to make sure they stay within the law and what the law actually tells them are the legal obligations. So it's gone really, really well so far. And those officiants, we finally got the card reader that worked in the end of January, so we've been able to get those officiants their ID card before you guys. Not necessarily good, but that's how it works. So, marriage licenses issued. Last year was not a good year. It was already about 1,000 down. In 2014, it was pretty flat. 2015, I think there was about a 400 difference. 2016, again, about a 400 difference on the negative side. And then 2017, we dropped 4%, which was not good. November, December, and January, there's almost a 10% drop per month. So that's a really worrying trend. Obviously, that shooting was not good for Las Vegas in general, and it was not good for the wedding industry. So we need to all kind of pull together and figure out what we can do to revive the industry, to protect all of our jobs. Any questions about that? What you've seen? Have you guys seen the decline as well? Is it happening pretty much across all of your properties and businesses? Any comments? Yeah, I mean, we're hoping that this will not be a year-long trend. There's good news out there, actually, though. Even though Las Vegas is hurting, marriages are increasing across the country. Oops, there we go. This is the marriage licenses issued on a national trend, right? So you can see that, and these numbers are pretty small, you can see up until from 1992 until about 1997, the trend line was going up, and we were doing very, very well. It started to decline around 1997, and it declined all the way through until 2009. There was that negative bump around 2013, but if you take that out, it's been a steady increase since 2009. And so going back, since 2009, there's been almost a 10% increase in number of marriage licenses issued across the country. So people talk about the marriage rate. The rate, you know, how many in this room are already married? Raise your hand. Okay, so the rate is the population per 1,000 divided by the number of marriages per year. So if everybody were 90, your marriage rate would be 0, right? Almost nobody's going to get married at 90. If the whole room was age 21 and 100% of the population got married at age 21, your rate would be 100. So marriage rate kind of doesn't matter. What's happened in the same demographic, in the same time period, is in the 20s, the biggest portion of the population were in their 20s. Marriage age, so the marriage rate's very high. As the boomers have been, moving through their ages, there's a bigger portion of the population that's baby boomers, and so if everybody got married at 21, we would still see a declining marriage rate because the population's older, right? So everybody keeps talking about marriage rate, and I want you to be able to counter this argument because the rate depends on the age of the population. Our population is older, everybody agrees with that, so the rate would naturally decline even if the same proportion of 21-year-olds or millennials got married. What we've seen in our numbers is that millennials, now that they have a little bit of economic stability after the Great Recession, is millennials are getting married. They're a year or two older. I have 3 kids that are millennials. Their friends are getting married. now that they have jobs, they're buying houses, they're moving out of the house, they're getting married, the same as that we did, but it took them a little bit longer because the economy was really tanked. So you can see that the number of marriages in the U.S. has been growing almost 10% since 2009. Las Vegas visitor volume over that same time frame has grown 9%, 8.61%. But the county marriage licenses issued has dropped 12%. Oops. Which means that we have lost market share. And so that's something that we actually have some control over. So people that say, oh, marriages are declining, nobody's getting married, millennials aren't getting married, the marriage rate is going down. It doesn't matter. The number of people getting married is going up. Our visitor volume is going up. Our marriage licenses issued are going down. That means that's market share, and that's something that we actually have some control over. We can actually do something to respond to that. So that's the good news. The other good news is that internationally, marriages, destination weddings are increasing. People are more willing to travel, and about 1 in 4 couples that are getting married worldwide appear to be willing to go someplace else to get married. So that's a market that we can go after. The global market, there's about 2.1 million marriages in Europe. There's about 10 million marriages in India. There's 11.5 million weddings in China. These are all markets that we can try to go after eventually. Not necessarily today, but by doing things proactively, we can reach out and try to increase our market share again, which is what Las Vegas really built the wedding industry on. We didn't have a big population. It was destination weddings coming to Las Vegas, people that chose Las Vegas as the best place in the world to get married, and we can have that again. We just need to make sure that we all start telling our family and friends, getting locals to tell people what a great place it is to get married so that they can begin that conversation that this still is the best place in the world to get married. Last year, or in 2016, again, Clark County got, and this was true last year too, Clark County got tourists from every state in the union and 119 of 195 countries in the world. That means almost every country in the world sent at least one or two couples here to get married. So we have an international brand. That's the really good news. People know about Las Vegas and they care about Las Vegas, and they continue to want to come here to get married. Global wedding tourism market is predicted to continue to grow as people travel more easily, as there's more transportation. We're getting more direct flights from international countries to Las Vegas, and that again provides us with opportunities to market to those destinations. What's happened, because the worldwide destination wedding industry has grown so much over the last decade, that about 5 years ago, an organization formed that's the Global Destination Wedding Planners Congress. And so now there's an international organization that is doing some of the research on, what's the wedding market, who are getting married, what are the age, what countries they're coming from, where are they going. And this is something that we probably at some point want to participate in so that Las Vegas isn't just left out of that conversation when we're talking about wedding planners from around the globe. The next Congress is being held in Los Cabos, Mexico on April 10th through the 12th. So Mexico has seen, and this is one of the reasons they wanted to host this event, is because they saw their destination wedding market increase 50% over the last 5 years. So other places are seeing a growth, and again, that just shows us that there is an opportunity out there, there is a market. Las Vegas is still one of the best places in the world to come. I think all the things with the Golden Knights and the Raiders and the new sports focus is another good reason to market Las Vegas as a great destination. So the things that we are doing as a community also should benefit wedding tourism. We just need to make sure that we are part of that conversation. And again, we still are, even with our decline, we still are the number one wedding destination in the world, as far as I can tell. If anybody has any other information, let me know. But as far as I can tell, more people come to Las Vegas. A higher percentage of people come to Las Vegas than any other destination in the world. And people go, oh no, they're all going to Hawaii. They did 20,000 weddings last year. We did 80,000. Oh, they're going to Jamaica. Yeah, they did 50,000, which is, a lot. We'd like some of those, but it still isn't Las Vegas. So unless we just give up the ghost, we have a lot of opportunity to make sure that our businesses stay stable. In 2017, some of the things the clerk's office took the initiative on is at the very beginning of the year, that we issued the 10,000th same-sex marriage license. Does anybody remember that promotion going out? No? Yes, okay. And we got a lot of press on that. I don't know the number for that because we didn't have the resources to find out, but I saw that it went all over the country. Las Vegas Marries the Military. That was a partnership with the Las Vegas Wedding Chamber of Commerce, and we got about over $4 million in press from that event. So that was another a good promotion, and again, it went all over the country and in some places outside of the country. What's important is that we continue to stay in the press. So these kind of promotions are really important so that Las Vegas stays in the conversation. If the only information we have is the Elvis wedding or the quickie wedding, then that's not necessarily in our best interest because we do so much more than that. We do that, we have the really fun, kind of spontaneous weddings, but that's not the only thing that we do. And we need to make sure we stay in the press. So this is from the LA Times archives. There was something from 2001 and something before that from 1993. If we're not in the press more than once every decade, it's going to be kind of hard to maintain our market share. So this was actually from 2001, which was Las Vegas celebrated its 3 millionth wedding on Tuesday. So that's really good, the kinds of things that we can capitalize on. Our 5 millionth is coming up probably in 2 or 3 years. And what we're looking at right now too, and I think that it might be another decade, but 100 years of weddings in Las Vegas. Why are we the wedding destination? So those are some of the ideas that we're thinking of. Unfortunately, they're not coming up really, really soon. So who heard about the Pop-Up Marriage License Bureau at McCarran? Raise your hand. That ended up being an incredibly successful promotion. That came from Rosemary Vasiliadis at the airport. It was her idea to do that, and I thought that's brilliant. We picked a time when we thought we could market as kind of a natural reason for us being out there, so Valentine's Day. We didn't expect that this would increase the number of people coming to Las Vegas to get married because nobody's going to go, oh, wow, I can pick up my marriage license at the airport. Let's go to Las Vegas and get married. But we did get a lot of press out of it. As a matter of fact, does anybody listen to NPR on Saturday mornings? Wait, don't tell me. Wait, don't tell me. Yeah, raise your hand. We were one of the limericks in that. So it got great press in almost every state and places around the world. We got the French AP came and did an interview, so we saw some of those stories in like Syria and Al Jazeera and the Middle East, with stories in Europe, a lot of stories in Canada, and from that we got over $12 million in press. So that's really good for us because it was a little quirky, it was a little fun, it was like, why, I think it puts Las Vegas as a fun, kind of innovative, a little bit different place to come and get married, but in a very positive way. And so what I wanted to spend the rest of the day talking about is what can we do going forward to continue to put Las Vegas in the press. This is the things that we can do as a community that the clerk's office can take a lead on. We do have a public information officer who helps with press releases and pushing things out. We are hopefully partnering with the LVCVA on some of these, but we're going to have to do some of the work ourselves. What can we do to make sure that Las Vegas continues to have that kind of innovative, fun, a little bit different, but still a wonderful wedding experience, so that the millennials who do have a little bit different values, and we've talked about that in the past. I'm not going to spend time today unless you specifically ask me some questions, but we want for them to see us as a really fun, special place to come and get married. So the next thing that we want to do, and again, this was someone else's idea, but I thought it was great, is Meghan Markle is a U.S. citizen. She's marrying Prince Harry on May 19th. And why can't we celebrate her wedding with her, let our brides feel like they're getting married like a royalty? We sent a press release. Did everybody get not a press release, but did everyone get the email saying, what are your ideas? Let us know what you're doing. Did anybody not get an email from the clerk's office? Make sure that you're on then our email list, because we're going to want to communicate. So if you're not, make sure you tell Ashley and give her updated information. If you should have, 100% of you should have gotten it. If you didn't get it, that's probably because there's something wrong with your email. Might be mistyped, or maybe it's old. I don't know. But what we really want to do is, the clerk's office is going to do some things. We're considering, we still haven't figured it out exactly, but we will come up with it over the next week or so. This is actually the Marriage License Bureau. Have you been in the Marriage License Bureau? About a year ago, we put up a picture, and a lot of people want to stand in front of that and get their picture taken. It's right by window 10 on the way out the door. And then what we'd like to do is get a couple cutouts that maybe make it look a little by Britain or flag, something like this. So again, it's a picture-taking opportunity. We'll put some social media hashtags on it so they can tweet it out, let other people know about their wedding. We're considering maybe some kind of a special certificate, that if they want it on their marriage certificate, they can get a special one instead of the regular certificate. It'll still be legal, but it'll have a different image behind it. Maybe just putting some crowns or stamps or something like that on the paperwork. So those are the things that we're thinking of. What ideas do you guys have? I'd like as many of you as want to do some kind of special wedding promotion within your chapel, but we can talk about other ideas that how we can help promote this. We're going to declare May of Proclamation Royal Wedding Month from the County Commission. I'm talking to the city about doing Wedding Way, which would be from Sahara down to the Neon Museum, and trying to get some special banners. We may not be able to do that just because of timing, if there's other things already slotted in. But those are the kind of ideas that we are moving forward with trying to make happen. So I'd really like to take some time to talk about, what do you guys think we can do? What ideas do you have? How can we make this a really big event that will get, again, some national and international press? Okay. Ashley has a microphone. Any ideas? Any thoughts? Down here.
The advertisement, I think. I'm Pastor Louis Peoples. I'm at the Venetian. Advertisement, I think, is the key, and correct me if I'm wrong, especially with the casinos. People want to think they're getting something for nothing in some cases. And I had spoken to some of the casinos. You have those buffets. The next day, if that food is cooked, it has to be thrown away. Why not give the marriage couple the free buffet added to their wedding package for those that are at the casinos? And I think that will help in a little bit, and then more advertisement, of course.
The clerk's office is not going to tell anybody what to do. If you can get somebody at the Wynn to talk about something like that, that would be great. I mean, I'm not going to tell you to do anything. What I'm encouraging you is talk to your partners and say, what can the Wynn do? What other things? I mean, Meghan Markle cocktail at the bar. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be a discount. It could just be something that recognizes them and makes them feel special. At the shows, if you just say, who in the audience got married this month, and recognize, hey, Charlotte Richards, congratulations, everybody applaud. That makes people feel special. It doesn't cost a dime. So it doesn't have to be a huge discount. It has to be something that makes them feel special, I think. It could be a discount. I'm not saying people don't want discounts, but what we're trying to do is get something out by the beginning of March in time for people to maybe actually increase the number of people that come here in May to get married. But it's a great idea. thank you for taking that to the win.
Well, it doesn't cost them anything. I mean, they're throwing that food away anyway, so it's a no-brainer for me.
I have a question. I'm Brian Ross. I'm the main minister at Caesar's Palace Hotel. I think there's a different dialogue between the chapels and how the hotels do things. And I'm sure the end of the weddings at the end of the year were a big problem for the chapels, but most of the hotels book out a year. So those are longer term things. But my question is, how come we've not seen any international commercials? You know, you said yourself, and you made a good point that, you know, people know about the Vegas weddings or the drive-through. Why don't we have a commercial where it showcases 3 different types of weddings that we do in Las Vegas? You know, not highlight the property itself, but just 3 different, you know, something like that where it goes, because those are I understand that you're getting free PR and that's great, but we need an international commercial because we used to see them all the time on TV. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I particularly didn't really like that motto, but, you know, we need to put out an international commercial as far as weddings. And then ultimately it's also value because, well, the economy has been down for a long time. It's going to take a while for people to trust it again. So that's the biggest issue. So I really do think it's the commercial, and you know we raised the rates on all the licenses. Wasn't that money supposed to go toward that type of thing?
Yeah, as of December, there was $2 million given to the LVCVA specifically for those kinds of things. They are doing a marketing, branding, and advertising program. They're doing some social media, and they are developing some of those things at the new visitlasvegas.com. Yeah, visitlasvegas.com/weddings, and they do have exactly some of those kind of things on there. But frankly, $1 million international advertising budget is almost nothing. So it sounds like a lot, and I'm happy that they're doing some things, but if we don't complement that with some promotions that we can do as well, I don't think that we're going to see a significant difference because, you know, $1 million, you could spend it in Southern California and still not saturate the market there, let alone worldwide. So I think what you also need to be doing, especially people that have resources beyond their, you know, beyond their own specific property, is talk to your marketing department and talk to, you know, your representatives from LVCVA so that hopefully they will raise the profile of weddings throughout their advertising. That's one of the things that I keep encouraging them to do. You know, put a bride walking behind, you know, somebody in one of their regular commercials. You see brides all the time at the airport and at the properties. You can't go downtown without seeing a bride. So why not include that just subliminally in other advertising and the properties too? If you can encourage your marketing team to just include brides in the visuals. So yeah, that is what the money is being used for. I would like to see some of it go to more of these promotional things because I think we get a really big bang for the buck. But the LVCVA is doing, you know, has gotten $2 million so far, and they're doing the branding and the advertising.
Is there any way we can make some type of a special royal certificate for our wedding people? You know, just a certificate that's special. It's an additional charge that they can buy, and have a, you know, if they want to buy it, just says it's a, you know, certificate for that month.
We're talking about from the clerk's office? Yeah. Yes, I'm trying to see. I would like to do something like that. And it won't be an additional charge. It would just be part of the royal wedding. Because again, if they frame something like that, then it markets us long term. That will be part of what, I agree. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And it's something that we would like to do. So what I'm saying is we'd like to send out a press release at the beginning of March, which is only a couple weeks, so that we can start generating some interest in this, you know, May as Royal Wedding Month, so that we get additional people, not just the same people doing something special. And I know that a lot of properties, they do a year out. It would be nice if we had a year notification. We don't, but that's one of the reasons I'm having this meeting today. This isn't the only thing that we'll talk about, but I would like to try to plan maybe the year and get ideas on other things after May as well.
Lynn, the Office of the Lieutenant Governor is always doing this sisterhood, and perhaps you can connect with them because that is very, very, very effective.
That's an excellent idea, and I will do that.
I had a suggestion. I was wondering if it's possible to offer for anyone who got married in the month of May for Royal Wedding Month, if there could be 3 opportunities, one for an international couple who comes in, one for a local couple who comes in or who gets married, and a third for anyone in the US, where if you got married in the month of May, you would be entered into a drawing to come back to Las Vegas for your 1-year anniversary. We would, of course, need to get one of the properties to donate, maybe a little suite or something, but just an idea to get folks kind of coming in, and it's something that no matter what type of officiant you are, whether you're at a chapel or if you are a mobile officiant, whatever the case may be, your person would have an opportunity because they just got married in the month of May.
That's another great idea. If somebody offers that, we will put that in the promotions. Absolutely. And I think celebrating, the 1-year anniversary, those kinds of things. Again, encourage your couples to use the free .vegas domain name that they're offered when they fill out their online marriage certificate or marriage license. Encourage them to use that, and not just as their wedding planning site, but as a long-term, as long as their marriage site. Put their first baby on it, put their first house, all those kinds of things, so that we have a way, again, to kind of reach back out to these people and offer them vow renewals at 5 years or something like that. So, yeah, if we had Caesars or some other property that wants to offer something like that, we'd be happy to help push that information out, as well as through their own channels.
My question is, would it be possible to have their wedding photo put on the marriage certificate, so that's not a possibility?
No. I that would cost money that I don't have. I mean, I just don't have that
Right.
resources.
Even if they're paying an extra fee?
All of that is determined by state law, so I don't have the flexibility to do something like that. And I mean, I can do whatever I want as far as the marriage certificate. I cannot charge extra fees. It would have to be part of the existing fee structure.
With the marriage fee being $77, if that's correct, is it possible to, on that special month, that you can say, okay, buy one, get one free type of thing? No?
Nope. Nope. Yeah. Another thing I can't do. All of the fee structure is set by the state. So I would have to go to the legislature to get changes in the fee structure. So I can't do anything like that. No, the fee structure is set by the state. So I don't have any flexibility in that. It's a great idea. I can't do it.
Good morning. Hi, Melody Williams representing Vegas Weddings. I gave you a few ideas, Lynn, and I just wanted to kind of come and bring them here today as well. Vegas Weddings did what probably most of the other chapels have done. We launched a specific package, replaced one of our other ones on our valuable website with a royal wedding package, if you will, featuring like a Lady Diana bouquet, royal experience photo session, just, kind of rolling out the red carpet. And we did a press release. We're also doing some internal things as well to capitalize on the day. And suggestions that I had, I'd be happy to collaborate with any of the other chapel owners, directors, officiants, planners. I would recommend all of May, some sort of stamp, to let everyone feel royal, if you will, majestic. On the day of, I think we should do something that would get us a great amount of press, a red carpet, out at the marriage license facility, so everybody walking up would get to walk up to a red carpet. One of the bigger ideas that I have, and I don't know how to bring it all to life, but I'd be happy to collaborate, is a changing of the guards. I think that would be very fun. I wouldn't want it to be disrespectful in any way, but something that would promote and bring life to the idea of our American princess becoming a royal princess, even if there were some sort of car type, like even just a little tiny parade, something like that. And again, I'd be happy to collaborate, but those are our ideas from us to you.
And I think those are great ideas. We're seeing which ones that I have the resources to implement. Again, I think the more we collaborate, the bigger the more it looks like a community event, the better press we'll get. So I encourage everyone to follow their lead and at least, rename one of your packages the Royal Package and maybe have some kind of fun things. We just got one of the Lalique at Crystal's said that any couple that comes by, any couple with a marriage license or in a wedding dress, they'll give them a free glass of champagne within a Lalique glass. They're not going to give them the glass, but they'll let them drink out of a Lalique glass. But, it's just fun. It's fun. It's something for them to do and make them feel special. So I think that if you especially have restaurant partners or hotel lodging partners, entertainment partners, encourage them to do something to make the couple feel special. And the more the whole community buys into this, the better press we'll get and the better the experience during that month.
Lynn, we have over 4,000 shows a year that are presented and hosted by Las Vegas. Is there any way that a partnership could be established with those people that are putting on those shows whereby the wedding industry could be a part of their package or at least part of their advertising showing something available? Because CES was just here and had 160,000 people in town. And I have personal experience. I know that there were two couples that went to CES that got married while they were here. And the other question I have is when we have the shows in town and with the number of people and the influx that we have, do you see a spike in marriage licenses, or is it flat, or does it decline, or what happens?
We have so many shows, and we don't have we don't have the resources to track something like that. If this is something that the community would like to know better, which shows actually bring in couples, that's the kind of cooperation that I would appreciate, especially if you have some way of doing data analysis. I have the data, but then I have to have somebody that matches it to the shows. I haven't seen that except for like Life is Beautiful and the Electric Daisy. That we do see people from those two events. Is there a central resource where I could reach out to the entertainment industry? Any help you guys can give me on some of this stuff would be great. If you have any of those resources or know some of those resources, because I'd be happy to reach out, but I don't know what that resource is.
Charlotte has a lot of this really worldwide TV connection. She has a lot of invitations coming from all over the world. In fact, this week she would be on television. Say something about it, Charlotte. She's so humble. Come on.
About my success, I can only give God all the glory for it. He is the one, and I'm just one of His little people, and that's the way I feel. I couldn't do anything if I didn't have the Lord in my life.
Thank you, Charlotte.
I do know that God helps those who help themselves as well, though. So, Charlotte, I'm pretty convinced that you did a lot with His support. So, you have actually helped give Las Vegas that international brand. Any ideas you have or resources, we'd be happy to collaborate with you, and not to take away from your chapel, but to help rebuild the industry. Because I do know that, especially some of you guys that have been around a number of years, have built this industry. It's why it is what it is, and we need to appreciate what you've done and make sure that we don't just let it fall to the wayside because you're not there moving it forward. So, we have a younger generation as well, people that have gotten their license this year. Those people also need to be doing what it takes to market Las Vegas as a wedding destination. So, yeah, I would love to talk to you more specifically if you have some ideas that you want to share. Any other comments? We have one up here. I'll go up here.
Lynn, is there any way we can change the font for the couple's name to a little bit bigger font so the couple can see actually who got married on the marriage certificate?
I will check into that.
Do wedding officiants get a .vegas site also? Officiants? Do you know?
They do not, but that's something that we can talk about. That's not a bad idea at all. I will talk about it with .vegas as well. I hope somebody's taking notes on all the things I'm doing. That is a good idea, actually. It's a real good idea. Oh, that's a good idea too. Usually I have somebody, but they're all busy out there trying to get your cards. So you guys need to help me remember. Do the wedding officiants have a .vegas domain? And I can talk to them about seeing how we could do something like that, because I do think that's not a bad idea. Other comments or questions about this particular promotion? Please, if you have ideas, if you are going to do something, give me, email me back using that same email that I sent out, or just put, May is something on the subject line, so Royal Wedding Month, so that I don't lose it, and we will compile all the information. The Las Vegas Wedding Chamber of Commerce is going to put up a page that will list everybody's promotions, and so hopefully it will bring some business and get some attention. Anything else on the Royal Wedding Month? And yeah, we need to figure out what the Marriage License Bureau is going to do. We haven't had a chance to even do that, but we will do something. I want to send out a press release by March 1st or 5th, that first week in March. Otherwise, we kind of lost any opportunity to get new people. And we do hopefully want to increase the number of people that come here in May. Who?
Hi, Lynn. I'm Mike Willis. I'm in Laughlin, Nevada, and weddings don't have a high priority at this time down there. However, I noticed that you opened a kiosk in Laughlin where people can record property transactions. Is there a possibility that we can have a place to record our weddings down there in Laughlin?
We're talking about how we can do something like that. Currently, we don't have remote possibilities, but it's something that we're trying to provide. And it's in our thought stream. Let me put it that way. It's not in our plans yet, but it's in our thoughts. Absolutely. You're welcome.
Ma'am, does the county have, as a new officiant myself, and looking for a mentor, someone to shadow, and being interested in your twice a month education about how to complete paperwork, the entire process, it looks to me, is done on an individual basis rather than, we want to be professional, we want to do it right. I'd like to know if you have a mentor program of some sort, or if people here offer it, so that you can be of one ability and present the best foot forward for Las Vegas, and have something. Well, this is a good start here. I don't know how often you have these, but as ideas come along, to be able to provide those ideas to you and have them reviewed. I don't know if I'm giving you this, asking this question properly or not, but it just seems to me that to start out, it's what do I do? Where do I go? How do I proceed? And to do it properly.
So the clerk's office is always a resource for you as far as all of the legal aspects of it, because we're the civil portion of it. But as far as how to write a ceremony or those kinds of things, I'm not sure that I think it's appropriate for the clerk to get in the middle of that. But I have had that request from more than one officiant. So this is the kind of things that I hope that you guys, that these meetings, these quarterly meetings, facilitate you getting to know each other and helping to provide resources to each other and engagement with each other, so that you can help improve the industry as well as the quality of what you personally do. So again, the Las Vegas Wedding Chamber of Commerce is designed to do some of that as well, so that we can get together as an industry to improve the industry. Because if we don't do it, no one else cares. You know, I mean, the truth is, it's not at the top of everyone else's mind. And so, you know, we can agitate and encourage, but the industry has to be doing that too, not just the clerk's office. So the more you guys can get together as an industry, the stronger it will be, both internally in Clark County, and the more that we can reach out to the broader community to let them know that we are really a great place to come and get married still.
I'm a new officiant as well. And what was this bi-monthly meetings? I didn't know about anything like that. Is it a training meeting or what?
All new officiants as of January 1 are required to go through a 1 hour, 1.5 hour training session with the clerk's office on the legal aspects of your profession.
Oh, okay.
So that started in January. We've had, I guess 4. Yeah, I thought it was 3, but 4.
I didn't know about that.
And they've been received very well from the new officiants, where they feel like they at least have some basis. Anyone's welcome to attend those. You may not need to, because you've been doing it for so long, but if you want to, you're welcome to attend those. We've had some existing officiants that have attended as well.
How do
But
I
they're
find
designed
out
for
where they
brand new.
are?
They're on our website.
Oh, okay.
It's listed
thank
on
you.
our website. And again, that's just a way to ensure that you know, we raise the professionalism of this industry, because it is a really important job that you do, and you deserve the respect and the stature of being someone that does a really important job. Any other thoughts or ideas or, oops?
I just got a question. Is it mandatory for everyone to have that ID card? And if so, when is it effective?
It is not mandatory. We encourage you to do it. The reasons why this actually came from the Officiants. It was an Officiants idea, and I thought it was a brilliant idea. I think you were there, weren't you, when it came up? And we all thought it was a really good idea. I think that it will help my office, because if you have a standard Officiant ID with an ID number on it, it helps me track that it's actually one person filing this certificate. Right now, we type everything in. If you do anything different on your, so my name is Lynn Marie Goya. If I put Lynn Goya, and then I put Lynn Marie Goya, and then I put Lynn M. Goya, then that's, to me, to the office, that's 3 different officiants. And I don't have the staff to go through and say, oh, it's actually all the same person. With the ID card, you got one number, so I'll know it's you every single time. And going forward, then when people say, well, how many officiants do we actually have that are actually performing marriages? Right now, I don't know. But by the end of the year, I'll be able to say, well, we have X number of officiants that have performed marriages in 2018. And it's not mandatory. It is mandatory that you put the number on your license. So this will make it easier for you. When you do get your card, I'm happy for you to make a copy of your card every time you file your certificates, and then that card will work for all of the certificates. You're not going to have to do it on each one. So it lets our staff, I think it's going to create efficiencies for our staff. And then for you guys, not only does it make it more efficient and easier for you to fill out your certificates, but you know, we do get calls regularly where they say, is so-and-so actually a licensed officiant? And, you know, we look it up, but now you'll have a way to say, yeah, I'm actually a licensed officiant, here's my card. So I think it raises your stature on that level as well. And then the third thing that it will really do is we didn't realize how many unlicensed officiants are out there. Even when we advocated for the state law that would allow us to penalize, move from a criminal to a civil fine, we didn't think there were that many because we hadn't heard about that many. But I'm getting calls at least one a week that is an unlicensed officiant. A lady got married in September. Her spouse died in a work-related accident. The officiant, turns out it wasn't a licensed officiant. He didn't file the certificate. As you guys know, she needs the certificate to be able to do claim benefits. So she apparently went back and looked at her paperwork, found the certificate and filed it, but now they're considering whether they think that's a legal marriage because the certificate was filed after the guy died. Well, it is a legal marriage, and we are supporting her that it is a legal marriage. But those are the kinds of things that are really not good for the industry. It's absolutely not good for that person and that couple who he thought he was protecting her, and then when he passed away, she didn't have that legal protection. So in Washoe County, I was told that almost 40% of the licenses that were filed or the certificates that were filed were by unlicensed officiants. So once I have your ID number, I'll be able to know that, oh, this person actually isn't licensed if they do file, and then it helps us try to, again, make the industry more professional and protects you as well.
Lynn, isn't this something that maybe, especially in Washoe with 40%, that can be prevented when couples go pick up their marriage license packets by that clerk or whatnot saying, are you sure you're getting married by officiant licensed in the state of Nevada? Or, kind of clue them into they need to check on that?
Well, Washoe has its own county clerk, and she is, we talk, all the state clerks talk, so they know what we're doing. Clearly, Las Vegas leads the pack on marriage licenses, and so the things that we do, I let them know what we're doing and tell them whether it's successful or not. The state law, where it was changed from a criminal penalty to a civil penalty, that came from us but was supported by the clerks throughout the state, and that takes it out of the criminal system, so we don't have to have a policeman come and arrest you. I don't really care about that. I just want you to stop doing it. So a civil fine is fine for me. We are all working through this. It impacts Las Vegas more, and that's why I think the IDs are a great idea that will have an impact in Clark County and then other destinations like Washoe. Not only Washoe, Douglas, and Clark really do a large number of marriages. Some of them don't even do any. They're so small. So, we talk pretty regularly. And I think that they're interested in seeing how this whole ID thing works for us, and if you guys like it and it helps us, then you might see it in other places around the state. But again, they're independent, so I can't tell them what to do.
So my question is on exactly what you just brought up. So when you have an unlicensed officiant that holds that conducts a ceremony, and they come to the counter to present the certificate, correct? Okay, so they come to the counter, and at that time, that they're not licensed to do so, right? Right when they turn it in?
No, we have not known in the past, because until we have a clean database, I wouldn't know whether or not you're licensed. That's why, starting in January, we've been asking you to put your certificate number on. So even though my software is not up to speed, hopefully by the end of the year, I'll be able to do some actual things within our database. Right now, just the fact that we're asking you to give it a license should help us define that. Before January 1, I didn't even have that. So no, I did not know who was licensed and who wasn't. Anyone that brings in a marriage certificate will have it filed, because we do not want the couple to be the one that suffers from that. The couple needs to have their license recorded.
So you're saying that the certificate still becomes valid even though the person who officiated is not official?
That's correct. That's state law.
Wow. So technically anybody can officiate a ceremony.
and get a $1,500 fine.
Wow.
As of January 1. We have been sending out letters to some officiants, yes. And trust me, this one, once we track them down that did where the lady died, we'll get a letter. Over here first.
If you would just put a little note or an additional paper when the package are picked up by the couples at the Marriage License Bureau to ask for the officiant ID, or send out a letter to the chapels to make sure that their officiant have the proper paperwork, that should solve quite a bit of problems.
Thank you.
We were wondering if we are licensed in Clark County or in Nevada. So can we go do wedding in Reno, for example?
Each county, so you have to apply for your officiant's license in the county where you reside, but then you can marry somebody anywhere within the state. What you need to file the certificate in the county where the license was issued. So if you married somebody, so say your friend picked up their license here, went up to Lake Tahoe, got married with you, got married in Lake Tahoe, that's okay actually, as long as you bring the certificate back here to file. So you can marry anybody anywhere within the state, and you could marry someone from Washoe because you have an officiant's license. So these are statewide licenses, even though they're issued by the county from which you reside. The license or the certificate has to be recorded in the county that issued it.
Yeah, we'd like to know if our license as a Chapman, is there an expiration date on those licenses, or are they a lifetime license as long as we are operating as Chapmans and ministers? Is there an expiration date?
Yes, we implemented a 5-year renewal that starts in January 1 for any officiant that had this license before January 1. So 5 years from January 1. It would be the same fee that you pay now, $25. So that would, if the fee is the same in 5 years, that would be $5 a year basically to maintain your license. I'm sorry, can you say it into the mic? These are recorded, so please say it into the mic.
Yes, ma'am. If we have our license prior to joining January 2018, does that apply to us also, or do we have to go as of now go and we get 5 years?
5 years from January. Anybody that had their license as of December 31st, their renewal date will be 5 years from January 2018, January 1, 2018. So in 5 years from January 1, you will get a notice and need to just let us know you're still around, basically, and give us the $25 to process it. The reason that, and a lot of you have heard this story before. When I came into office, we had, I think, 5,500 officiants licensed in Clark County. So every time I would reach out to you guys, especially on things that were critically important, so I'd have to do a mailing, I would have to mail out to 5,500 officiants. Lots of those came back, lots. So it's like $1 a letter. We got 1,000 or 1,200 back the first time. I just want to know who's actually active. And this is a way for us to know who's active and keep our list clean. We have to give this list to the Secretary of State. So now from Clark County, there's 5,500 officiants. If someone is looking for an officiant, how are they going to find you in there? So this lets us clean up the list, keep it active with people that are actually performing weddings and want to be active. Even if you only do one a year, you will still be active. And that way, if we refer people to the list, it's a good list. It's not filled with so many people that have moved or died or quit or whatever. And again, I think in the long run, it's a benefit to you as well that we know that these are active officiants, not just people who at one time decided they wanted to get their officiant's license and then have never done anything. We don't know how to find them. They've moved. You know, those are it's a huge amount of resources for the clerk's office to try to maintain a list, especially the parts of it where they're not active because there's so much work involved. So that's the concept behind it. And I hope that you guys don't think that $5 a year is too much to maintain your license.
My question is, on my license it says permanent. So what would the status change be?
It will give you a renewal date on the card. It will give you a renewal date of 5 years from January.
No, I understand that, but does the certificate, do we keep the same certificate, or do
Yeah.
you say, okay, so it would still state as a status permanent?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if we have determined whether we're going to give out new certificates or not. We haven't, it's 5 years. We don't have to determine every single thing. We have 5 years to get your input to us, how you would like us to handle that.
As somebody on the retirement end, slowing down but not wanting to give up completely, I can see the possibility I won't have a wedding done in 5 years. It's been 2 years since I've done one, but I'm still active and want to be available. It's kind of concerning that I would be put on an inactive list.
You would not be on an inactive list as long as you maintained your license. Excellent. Yeah. We only put people on an inactive list is if we can't find them. Because, again, that's why we encourage you to make sure you maintain your current address with us and your current email so that we can find you. If I can't find you, we will after 30 days. If we send a mailer to you, a letter to you, it comes back, we will put you on the inactive list. But short of that, we wouldn't.
Hi everyone, I'm doing a wedding next month and I want to make sure I do everything right. So is the information on your website? Is it in the information that you sent me when I got my license number? I'm going to go review everything, but if there's anyone who has, 2 minutes to just kind of walk me through it, I'm active, I'm all good. I just want to make sure I dot all the I's and cross all the T's. I remember black ink. That's the one thing I remember. Thank you.
Yeah, and again, we do the legal part, the civil part, but we don't tell you how to conduct your ceremonies or anything. So you would need someone here to help.
Knowing that couples come to Las Vegas because they're crazy in love and do wild things. Yes, we can perform wedding ceremonies anywhere in the state. But what if those crazy lovers want to have a special ceremony done in Death Valley in the middle of the summer?
Licenses are issued in Nevada, and make sure that if you are conducting ceremonies outside of the state, you know that location's laws, because each state and each country has their own laws. So if you go to California, you need to know California laws. If you go to Mexico, you need to go Mexican laws. It's up to you as the person performing to know and understand those laws. I know Nevada laws, so that's what I can help you with. If the licenses that are issued in the state of Nevada are only good for the state of Nevada. They're good for 1 year, so if it's a year and a day, that license is no longer good. You need to be checking the date. If you are on the river and you don't know whether you're in Arizona or Nevada, that marriage may not be legal. If you go across state lines, absolutely that marriage will not be legal. So it's up to you as a professional to know the state laws and the laws, Nevada licenses, and that's typically true for most states, but I'm not going to talk about any other state and tell you the laws. The licenses are issued in Nevada for the state of Nevada within 1 year.
Just to piggyback on that last comment, if you're doing weddings in Red Rock areas or anything like that, it's very important that you get a permit. And you can't just stop on the side of the road and to have a wedding done. So it's really important to get that permit first.
Correct. Make sure you're following all the state and county and city or wherever you're performing the ceremony. Make sure you're following all their laws. Any other questions about that? We have a couple other ideas for promotions for later in the year, if we're done with those two conversations. So last year on November, we did Las Vegas Marries the Military. As I said, we got about $4.5 million worth of press on it. This is something we thought was successful enough to do again, but now we don't have to do it last minute. We can start to think about those things now. So if you want to be involved in that, please make sure that you let me or the Las Vegas Wedding Chamber of Commerce know what you'd like, how you'd like to participate. We would like to do the press way in advance, probably at the beginning of the summer, send out press releases so that couples then can apply and potentially book in November. So this is another way that we can promote Las Vegas as a wedding destination and hopefully increase our business a little bit. Any questions about the Las Vegas Marries the Military?
Hi, Lynn. I was wondering, you don't have to be a part of WIPA to possibly participate in this, because last year I thought like a lot of the marriage officiants had to be a part of WIPA to do the Marry the Military.
WIPA is a different organization, the Las Vegas Wedding Chamber of Commerce. They're two separate organizations, and this actually is it is a chamber event that we are supporting them for. So yeah, they can say it's for members only.
Okay, so I would have to join the
Las Vegas Wedding Chamber of Commerce, and I don't know what the rules will be this year, but that was the rules last year.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I'd definitely like to do that, but then I'd have to join the Chamber of Commerce. All right, thank you.
Well, it's a good thing. WIPA is wedding. Who knows what WIPA is? It's wedding. I don't know what the I is. International Professionals Association. It seems more for wedding planners, and it's their events are like big wedding. It's almost like little bridal shows. So yeah, over here, Ashley. Is anyone a member of WIPA that can talk about WIPA? You are? Oh, there you go.
So I'm the president of WIPA. My name is Rebecca Stebbins. I'm the manager of the Venetian. Hello. So WIPA is the Wedding International Professionals Association. So it's another organization here in Las Vegas. It's not just for wedding planners. It's for everybody in our industry that would like to, be a part of our association. We are internationally recognized in terms of variety of different countries that we're expanding. We do have national presence in a variety of different states, but we do meet quarterly in terms of we provide more of an education to help your business and to promote the community for Las Vegas.
Is there a fee?
There is a fee. Each year, it depends on the type of membership that you have, but you're welcome to go to wipa.org to take a look. WIPA.
Lynn, I was hoping you could go over the business over here. the business licenses required for officiants, especially mobile officiants.
I am not business licensing, so I can give you an overview. You would need to talk to business licensing to have more specific information.
And the reason I actually say that is because a lot of people don't realize they need additional licenses besides what their certificates.
Correct. The officiants, the permission to perform ceremonies that you get from the clerk's office is more a certification. Like if you were a hairdresser and you get certified, that doesn't give you a business license or a place to perform it. So if you are doing this as a private business, you might want to get a business license because you're a business. If you are an employee, then obviously you would not need to get a license. If you work for a church, As an employee, then you would not need to get a license, but then if you went on the side and did additional, weddings for a fee, so if you're making money, right, if you're doing it as a business, a way to earn income, then you would probably need a business license. If you are not earning income, which gratuity income, it doesn't matter what you call it, is the same according to the state law and the state and the federal law. So if you are an employee, you don't need it. If you're doing it for free, you don't need it. But if you are doing this as an income producing opportunity, then you probably would want a state license and a local license. And WIPA, I think, let me correct me if I'm wrong. The Las Vegas Wedding Chamber of Commerce is really a coalition of the industry professionals to get together to promote Las Vegas as a wedding destination. WIPA, I think, is more locally oriented to help train you on different things. The chamber doesn't do that. I think WIPA is more for increasing your own business, doing your own business development. Is that correct? Okay. So they're kind of two sides of the same coin. So any other questions about Las Vegas mirrors the military? Start thinking about that. If you have ideas or promotions, make sure that you pay attention and get that information out as soon as possible. Popular wedding dates this year, August is the big year, 8/1/18, 8/10/18, 8/11/18. I think a lot of people have already started to see people do 8/18/18. That's a big one that people seem to pick. If we can come up with some ideas around any of these dates, we could do some kind of special promotion. If you have ideas on things that we can do to promote Las Vegas throughout the year, let me know. I didn't come up with the pop-up marriage license bureau at the airport. I didn't come up with the May as Royal Wedding Month. Those are ideas that people brought to me, and I thought they were great, and let's jump on them. But I really rely on you guys as the industry professionals to come to me with ideas that I can help bring the community together to promote. So if you have other ideas, let's hear them, and it doesn't have to be today. Any other comments or questions about anything? That's all we had. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it.